Junior Nation came alive yesterday at Talladega Superspeedway as Dale Earnhardt Jr. drove to the win in the Geico 500. He led 57 laps in scoring his first win of the year.
I knew that they were going to do something. I just didn't know what it would be. Luckily enough, when the 48 would back up, the guys behind him would race, and that helped me a ton. So I just had to, I would move and try to put him in front of the guy that wasn't going to help him the most. I was just doing stuff, trying to figure out what I needed to do, and hopefully I did everything right, and we ended up here. Really want to thank, we worked together great with all our teammates today. We raced and passed each other, but we also worked good together when we needed to.
Dale's teammate Jimmy Johnson came in second yesterday. Paul Menard was third. Ryan Blaney, in only his sixth Sprint Cup Series start, finished in fourth, and Martin Truex Jr. finished fifth. 6 through 10 were Sam Hortus Jr., Ryan Newman, Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, and Josh Wise. In the points, Kevin Harvick leads by 40 over a new second-place driver, Martin Truex Jr. Jimmy Johnson is third, Joey Logano fourth, and Jr. now in fifth. The next stop, Kansas Speedway, next Saturday night. That's the Monday Morning Race Refresher. I'm Joe Moore on the Motor Racing Network.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
WOCA.
All right, 9 minutes before 8 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Monday morning. I keep forgetting what day it is. All right, so we have, I guess, a couple of topics just to bring up. If you want to call in and express your thoughts on them, I would appreciate it. The number is 622-9622, if you don't already know. The two, I'll just tell you both, and then we'll go back to each one of them. One of them is that Ben Carson has announced that he is running for the presidency. He's a retired neurosurgeon. He caught our attention, I don't know, maybe a year or so ago,
yes.
With things I had read about him. I didn't know who he was, nor did I know that he was an African-American man at that time. I mean, I've since known that, but anyway, so he has announced that I like him a lot. The only reluctance I have, I guess I have to hear everybody. You sort of know where he stands, I mean, real clearly, but you don't know how he would vote because he's never voted for anything.
Yeah.
You know? And, you sort of know where Jeb Bush stands. You sort of know where Marco Rubio stands. And anyway, so he is running as a Republican for president, if you didn't already figure that out. And then Glenn Beck is in the news for saying that legalizing gay marriage would cut church attendance in half. So I think I'll start with that one. Well,
okay.
I sort of just started with the Ben Carson story, but I don't know that I have a whole lot more to say about Ben Carson. I like him a lot. I like what he says a lot.
Yeah.
50% of churchgoers in America will stop attending church within 5 years if the Supreme Court legalizes gay marriage. That's what Glenn Beck said. I don't agree with Glenn Beck. I don't think so at all.
Either.
I don't think so at all.
No, there are churches that just, have specific people that go to each denomination, and it's not going to go away. The church attendance is being cut for not that reason.
So what I don't understand is let's see, if gay marriage goes through the Supreme Court and gay marriage becomes fine and they can put teeth in it, so now they go after the churches. 50% of our churches will fall away, meaning the congregations. So what does that mean? If the Supreme Court says that gay marriage should be legal, that a church will be forced to perform? I mean, wouldn't that be against their doctrine if that's the way that church felt?
Yeah.
I mean, if...
Exactly. It's a private entity.
The 9-member court heard arguments Tuesday on whether to legalize same-sex marriage in all 50 states. Same-sex couples can now marry in 36 states. So there's your test right there. Did church attendance drop in the 36 states?
Right.
And the District of Columbia? Or did church attendance drop for some other reason? Church attendance may have dropped.
Right.
But I don't know that it's because of that.
I don't think so.
I've often felt that marriage licenses should have very little to do with the states and with the government in general, whether it's the federal or the state.
Yeah.
I think your relationship with God is the relationship that dictates in your heart what kind of commitment and what level of commitment you can make to another person. Does that make sense? Did I make sense the way I said that?
It does.
In other words, the church should be able to say, yes, you can be married, or no, you can't. And if the church says no, then you go to another one. It's kind of like, I always compare it to simple things I can understand. If I go to a bakery and they don't make bagels, do I sue them because they don't make bagels, or do I just go to another bakery?
Right, exactly.
You know, if I go to a church, some churches don't marry divorced people, correct?
That's right.
Isn't that the way it is?
Exactly.
So what do? You sue them because they're not marrying you because you're divorced?
Right.
You know what Pastor Snyder was telling me? He was telling me that there is an organization, I think it was the Bill Gaither organization. Bill Gaither's like a gospel musician, okay? And it's similar to ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC, except for churches. Now, for those of you who don't know those three organizations, those are the licensing organizations for public broadcasting, or public performances, I should say. So when a song is publicly performed, whether it's on a stage or on a radio station,
Or in a jukebox.
Or in a jukebox, yes. There's a royalty. And that royalty pays for the use of that song. It's about a nickel, I think, something like that, per minute, something like that. And radio stations pay those three organizations, which it's just the way it's been set up. And the money goes to the publishers and the writers of the songs. That's how that works. The money does not go to the singer of the song.
Right.
Because he or she is the singer. Now, if the singer is also the songwriter, then yes, it does. And so Pastor Snyder was saying that and they will come down hard on you if you have a restaurant. If you have a restaurant and you're playing music, even on a radio, even though the radio station already pays for the licensing of that music, if you have that radio on in your restaurant, you also are expected to pay the licensing organizations, all three of them, because you don't know which song is licensed by which agency.
Exactly.
There are three of them. In Canada, there's a different one. In England, there's a different one. But in America, we have those three, ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC. Okay. I disagree. You and I are members of BMI. We get little tiny royalties from BMI. But I absolutely disagree with being heavy-handed against the restaurants. Gosh, I went on a big tangent, didn't I? I think I find this one more interesting. But here's what it has to do with the church. Pastor Snyder was telling me that there's a similar organization started by Bill Gaither that insists that churches pay to sing the hymns that are licensed by the Bill Gaither licensing organization.
Yeah.
Okay? And if you don't, Pastor Snyder told me that there could be a $150,000 fine if you're caught singing a song and you haven't paid your license fees. Hello? Hello? What is wrong with that? So Pastor Snyder's doing what any smart pastor would do. He said, okay, well, we'll just do the public domain songs and we have nothing to do with you.
Exactly.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
For sure.
There's probably some better public domain songs in the church world anyway.
I would think so.
I mean, can you imagine claiming the right to one of those beautiful hymns and saying that you deserve to be paid for that?
Exactly.
Hello.
Exactly. That is so crazy. That's pure greed there. He's not a church-going person.
So if you think about that and you think about what I'm trying to say about gay marriage, just to kind of connect the two, I just think the Supreme Court, the states, all of them should just get out of the marriage business.
Yeah.
Just leave the churches to do what churches do. Churches are about a relationship with God.
Exactly.
And what that church believes is the right relationship with God, and what your relationship should be with another human being, and what commitment, and what and marriage. You know, it should be up to the churches.
Right.
All right, we didn't have a whole lot of time to talk about that, and I've probably expressed that before. All right, we'll take a little break, and we'll be right back with Galen Newnold from Life South.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. Carly Fiorina, former chief executive at Hewlett-Packard, has announced she's running for the GOP presidential nomination. Retired neurosurgeon Ben Carson is also expected to officially announce his GOP candidacy this morning. In Garland, Texas, near Dallas, 2 men are dead after wounding a security guard at a contest for drawing cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad. Witness Ken Emanuel.
We needed to stay in the room because there was something going on in the parking lot, and that's all they could tell us at that time. At that point, we knew something was going on.
It's not clear if the shooting was linked to the event. At Talladega, Dale Earnhardt Jr. claims his first Sprint Cup win of the season. His late father had 10 wins there.
When we won today, I just made me think about his birthday and how much I miss him and how much he meant to me and so many more people.
It was Junior's 6th career win at Talladega. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Fox News Early Prime, breaking down business news and its impact on your